Hi guys, back again with another video. And as I said in this video, we'll just be doing a little cleanup of the code, putting the OpenGL functions in a file of itself. So let's just get started. I don't want this video to take too long, so let's just jump right into it. So first we'll just create a file, some files, and we'll place them in folders, special folders. So not new file, well, new file, sorry. It'll be a header file. And in here we want to create something called I guess we could just call it OpenGL, then functions, or we could just call it functions really. Yeah, we could just create a folder called functions. And then inside here we will create another folder called OpenGL. And then inside here is where we'll call OpenGL functions.h. And we also want to create a CPP file in there in that same place. So after we do that, let's just quickly create another C++ file. Although we don't really need a C++ file since this is only functions, but maybe I'll still do it though. So back in the same place that we were before, inside functions OpenGL and OpenGL functions .cpp, include it in all builds, and let's go. Okay, so now that we're here, we're just gonna let's go look in the main CPP file and see what we want to do. I'm gonna leave the loading the image here. I'm also going to leave things related to the window like GL window and GL, the create window and stuff. But stuff like this, we could just do init glue, I guess, somewhere in there. So avoid init glue. Avoid init glue. It's not completely necessary either, this part isn't, but in fact it may not even work out. But let's see. Next we wanna have something called we're gonna set something called GL blend. GL enable blend, that's what we'll have. And in the init function we're just gonna set up the function, this blend function, but we're gonna have GL enable blend as a separate thing. Okay, so void enable, and it's just gonna take in an GL. It's gonna take in a something we're gonna call a GL enum. I think it's called an enum. Okay, because we might not wanna enable something else, but and just for the sake of it, I'm gonna have something called void init OpenGL. Okay, and next we're at the point with the vertex buffer and vertex array and stuff. What we want to do here, we're gonna get all these things right here. We're gonna leave the declarations right here, but we're gonna, I guess we could leave the array that we are using for the vertices as well. Although since we know we are gonna be doing an array with, we're only gonna be rendering a quad, we could probably even move that as well. Yeah, we're rendering we could probably even make this const too. We could probably make this const. Okay, I'll just make it const. Even though I think that's maybe just making the pointer const, but anyway. And we could also move the texture coordinates as well, because we'll be using those. You can move them out to here. Okay, those are what we'll be using every time. So okay, we'll also do, so we'll do, this will be a function called create buffer. Void create vertex buffer. And it'll just take in an int called VA, or I think this is an unsigned int actually. VAO, VBO, well this is VAO, sorry, create vertex array. And we only do this, remember, because we have to with the core profile. I may even use compatibility profile, so we could just not have to do this. Sorry about that. And yeah, next we'll create the vertex buffer. This shader stuff, I'll come back to that later. So yeah, we'll do this right here. And again, we'll just take in the VBO in the function and nothing else. We'll take it in by reference to, yeah, I remember we have to do that. So back in here, before we forget, take this in by reference. And then void create vertex buffer. And that will be an unsigned, it will take in an unsigned int reference, which will be VBO. Okay. Next it will do the texture stuff. And this is just the texture coordinates, so create texture coordinates. Create texture coordinates. And again, it'll just take in an unsigned int reference. And I think I call it TBO. Although I'm not sure if I should call it that because there is something separate called a texture buffer object, but we probably wouldn't use it anyway, so I'm just going to use this. Next, we want to actually do the texture, and when we do the texture, we'll just take in a pointer called the image. We'll take in two things for the texture. The actual handle, the thing we'll use as a handle for it, this text thing right here. And we'll also take in the pointer to the image, which is this image right here. This is what we declared up here. Remember, it said we were going to leave the image inside here, so let's just do that. So void create texture, and we'll just not equal take unsigned int reference, which will be the text, and then we'll take the float, the char pointer, sorry, unsigned char pointer, which will be image. Let's see what else we want in here. We could also like do this thing right here, the uniform thing inside of the program. We could probably just do this in the texture function as well. We could do this inside shaders actually, when we do the shader. Because again, this is something that will likely never change. And for this stuff, we won't even need this because I plan on handling like drawing inside the viewport. Yeah, I think I'm gonna, not inside the viewport, I think I'm gonna handle drawing inside the class. Yeah, so We'll see though, we might not have to use these things here. So okay, let's just go to the CPP file, include #include OpenGL functions.h. First, we just want to define, let's just define them in order init glue. It doesn't take in anything, all it's going to do is call our thing, so we have to include glue. It's just going to call these two functions right here. It's going to do glue experimental and then actually init it and see if it's okay. Before we forget, let's just include glue.h. And let's make it the first thing we include as well. Just under there, we won't be including anything in OpenGL functions.h. So okay, I think that's going to be fine. Let's just remove it. And be sure to include the actual thing we just created, OpenGL functions.h. #include. And we're going to go inside functions, OpenGL, yes, inside there. And let's just replace this entire thing with init glue. It's right here. So we should be fine there. And then we did the VAO. Let's just copy this part right here. And so here we'll do create VAO Vertex array, sorry. And again we take in the unsigned int reference, just called VAO as well, but with lowercase. And we'll just do this, but remember to place VAO with the lowercase one. Okay, and we're gonna bind it in here. We're never gonna unbind it or anything. So now we can just replace that with the actual init, not init, create vertex array. And we're passing VAO, the capital one now. Okay, we share the stuff. We'll just go over that for now. And again, for vertex buffers, we're just going to do this really quickly. Copy this, put it inside here. Create vertex buffer, and sign in. Oh, this also needs to pass in the float. Sorry, I forgot about that. VBO, and then there's going to be a float pointer, vertices, and you also create texture. Texture buffer also needs to the create texture coordinate also needs to take in the texture coordinate. So yeah, so we'll just paste this thing here, and instead of, let's just replace these VBOs with the lowercase one. And vertices, I think will stay the same. Size of float, yeah. Everything else here seems fine. So let's just replace this entire part here with create vertex buffer. And it'll take in a float pointer as well now. So don't forget that. So it will take VBO, capital, and then vertices. Okay, and this might want us to use a const float as well. Const float pointer, so I'm just going to change that to const so we don't get problems. Okay. So also in here, before we forget, the texture coordinates also need to pass in the float pointer as well. Float pointer text coords. Okay, and in here where we define it, create texture buffer, text coords. I think that's what we call it. Create texture coordinates. Okay. So we did take it in here and sign in reference TBO, and then the float pointer text coords, and then here we'll just do what we were doing again. So TBO, just copy this, and yeah, we are calling it text coords, so we don't have to worry about that. Just change these uppercase TBO to the lowercase one we are taking it. So everything seems alright there. And then we'll do all this stuff inside create texture. So what we'll do is take in text, and then we'll take in image. We'll take in image to use right here. Other than that, I don't really want anything else. We could also possibly extend it in the future to take in these parameters, like which texture slot we want to put in, and whether we want to, which type of texture wrapping we want to use. But for now, because of this application, I don't think we'll ever want to change those. And in fact, that's the reason I'm doing most of these things the way I am, like putting them in functions and stuff, because I don't think they will ever change. So yeah, so create texture, void create texture. Oh yeah, and I didn't put void before these things right here, so let me just put all of them. Okay, so now I've done them and I'm back. Create texture, and it is in the unsigned int text, int reference, and unsigned char image, unsigned char pointer. Okay, and let's just copy and paste this thing entirely, except the uniform part. Don't copy that part. Okay, and replace that with create texture. And we didn't replace this part out here, the texture buffer part, texture core. So create texture coordinates. Okay, so that's looking good. So you want to deal with the shader part as well. But before we do that, I think I almost forgot the init OpenGL part here. We're not going to do much in here. Let's just go above here. Init OpenGL. And we're just going to do like like as I said, the blending function thing, which we're just going to have set. We'll have this set like the same way throughout the program. So I'm just gonna do the blend function in here. I'm just gonna set that out in here. And instead to do like say if there was something like a def buffer or something like that, we could also just init that like set up properties for it in here or something. Or anything where we have to set the properties for it, like say the blend function before we enable it, we could do that in here since we don't think it's gonna change too much. We could also remove some of the new lines. And this shader stuff, we're just going to take in a shader program to use. So void create shaders, and since the shaders are in a header file, the actual shader source code, you could just include them in here in the CPP file. Void create shaders, and we're just going to take in a const char. But first, we're going to take in a shader program. A shader, you think we want to use that the shader program. I think I called it shader programming here too. Yep, I did. So I'm just going to use over this same name before even changing it. This is an unsigned int, I believe, int reference. And then we're also going to take in the const char pointer for the vertex shader, and then another one for the fragment shader. So vertex shader, and then another one for the fragment shader. Okay, that looks good. Let's see what else I need when we get there. So create shader. Seems pretty far though. Create shader. I guess it's just not showing up yet. And it's called shaders as well. Yeah. So you can see it now, and it takes in the unsigned int reference. This will just be the shader itself. Shader program. Const pointer vertex shader. And I guess it is the source, so in fact I'll not call it source. So yeah, I'll call it source. Again, another char pointer for the fragment shader. And I'll also go back and call these ones source as well. SRC and SRC right here. So back in here now, let's define this. And we'll just copy and paste all of this stuff right here. We have to declare the vertex shader and the fragment shader handlers inside there here as well. So that's one thing we will move. Okay, so it's going to go straight up to using it, to using the shader, which will be the same thing as binding it. Okay, so I'm fine with that. So let's just declare these things in here. In fact, I'm just going to copy this whole line and then remove the other ones because I'm kind of lazy. Okay, so just remove these. Then go behind here, remove everything behind here. And there we have our shader source, the shader handlers. Okay, so I think that looks good. This looks a little big. Okay, so let's just remove all of this stuff. Since we just copy all of this up to use program, and then just use create shaders instead. And we're gonna pass in, we don't need these two anymore. We're gonna pass in shader program, and we're gonna pass in, I think we have the shaders.h included in here, so vertex shader source and fragment shader source. Okay, that looks good. Hope it works. And we could just do, I think I'm just gonna call this upload texture uniform. And in fact, we could probably just do this inside the shader. I really don't want to do this inside of anything else. So we could probably just, since we know it's just only going to be one quad, like I hope I'm stressing enough that this is not a good idea for a game engine or anything, but because our program, we kind of know we only want to use like one of something or anything like that. That's why I'm doing this in this way. So yeah, this generally would be a good idea, but since we only know we're going to be binding this one texture, a texture slot, and we aren't going to be using it anywhere else or anything like that, we could just do this. So yeah, that's, and I'm just gonna also remove this thing. Yeah, I moved it, didn't I? Okay. So this part down here. So after process window event, I think I'm just gonna have something called draw window. Or maybe we could leave this inside here like this. So we'll have something called GL enable blend. Then we'll have init OpenGL after init OpenGL. And if you wanted to enable blend, you could do it right here. So I'm just gonna do it to see if it works. GL blend. Okay. And I think everything else here should be fine actually. Oh, we already created texture coordinates. We didn't pass in anything. So we're gonna pass in TBO. And then we're gonna pass in text coords. Okay, and then in create texture, we also didn't pass in anything. So text. And yeah, okay, and then the image. Okay, and then inside, I think that's everything now. I hope we passed in into create shaders. Yeah, we did pass some stuff into here. Okay, let's just see if this run before I even go about looking to do the stuff here. Okay, so we have to include stdio.h. Okay, so let's try again. Oh, this should be void. And this is lowercase text. And I think those were the only two places we were using that. So, width. Those are the width and height of the image, aren't there? We could just pass those into. So inside, think that is create texture. We could pass in the width and the height. And the height. And those are going to be ints. So let's also do it in here. If int width and int height. Okay, and also inside here, int width and int height. Okay, let's see now. We probably don't remove glue.h. We could still put it back in here actually. So hash include glue.h. Okay, so let's see what happens. Unused variable. Okay, let's just leave that. So a little something is changed here. Let me go see what happened. I think it said the image loading failed for some reason. So I'll just go and see what happened and come back, guys. Okay guys, so I think I figured out the problem. So the problem is that we can't actually get the size of a pointer from here. A size of a pointer will always just return like 4 or whatever the size of a pointer is on the system. So let's also I forgot to change this to const, but yeah, not a big deal. So yeah, we'll just pass in the size as another parameter as well. So int size. I don't know if it has to be unsigned int or not, but I'm just gonna do that. Unsigned int size. And also do the same thing for here. Unsigned int size. Okay. Let's also take that in here. Unsigned int size. And again right here in the text coord one. Unsigned int size. Okay, and instead of size of text coord and size of vertices, we are just passing size. Okay, and something similar down here. Okay, so that looks good for these files. So in the main.cpp file where we call those functions, we just have to pass in the size now. So create a vertex buffer, and then we're passing size of vertices. Oh god. Okay, and then for this one here, we're passing size of text coords. Okay, and let's see what happens. Sorry, I put an extra parenthesis there. And define reference to create shaders. Sorry about that, I also forgot to put in here. So I don't want that. It is an unsigned int. Unsigned int float pointer and then unsigned int again. So it should have these things. What the hell is going on here? I'll just copy this entire thing and let's just paste it right here. Something just changed. Oh, we also changed it to const float. Let's const float pointer. Let's just also change that. Sorry about that, silly error. So let's see now. And let's try to run. Okay, so as you guys can see, that's working now. And as you can see, we also enabled blending before and it's working too. So good. I don't know if I'm gonna like I think yeah we could do it. So we'll have something in the GL class or the window class called draw frame. So let's just declare it here. Void draw frame. And in here we'll just have something we're not defining it in here actually. So let's just declare it in here and it'll just take in, well actually what do we actually want this to take in? We're gonna set the GL viewport in here, so we want to take in the screen height. Well, not the screen height, the image height, which we'll call the frame height and frame width. Well, we'll start off with width first, so frame width. This is the frame of the image, or if we were streaming, this would be the size of each frame of the video. So frame width, not the window width by the way, so yeah, that's the difference. And then in frame height, I feel I should make some of these things unsigned, but it doesn't actually matter because none of them will be above like 4 billion pixels or 2 billion pixels or anything like that, so no need to worry. And what else do we want to take in for the draw frame? I actually don't think there's too much more we want to take in, because remember we already have the size of the window inside the window class. So I don't, well, we'll see what else we want to take in, but for now I think that's good. And then inside window.cpp, let's just go define this. So here on the clear window, I'm just gonna call void GL window, and then inside there we're gonna get the draw frame. It takes in the frame height, frame width, sorry, and then the frame height. Okay, so after that let's just do what we were doing in here. So we have the frame height already and the frame width. So you want to get the ratio of it. This will be the ratio of that, and you also want to get the screen height, the screen ratio as well. And then change these to frame width and frame height. And remember, we already have something in the class called width and height, so it could conflict with that. Okay, and for the screen ratio, we'll just use the thing we have. So we'll just remove GL window dot and leave the width and height. Okay, that's good. And don't forget, I said just now we remove GL window part, because we are inside the class right now. And okay, what were we doing after that? We figured out the new height, the viewport height. These are things we could just declare inside there. In fact, actually, I'm just going to create these two in the class, because I don't always want to declare them in the... Anyway, as I was saying, we are just going to declare these two variables inside the while loop. Not inside the while loop, and we're going to declare them in the class, because I don't want to declare them in the while loop all the time. So viewport width and viewport height. So let's do it above. I usually like to declare my things above. So int viewport height we're just going to call it VW and VH, and then we're going to let those be called inside here. We're just going to set them so we don't have to declare them, and we're going to remove all the things with GL window before them. We're just going to remove GL window. Okay, and we do have something called image ratio, so that should be fine. Okay, so after that we should be fine. Let's just go here. Let's see what else we were doing in the main function. Then we set the GL viewport. Yeah, we did this. Again, removing GL window. So GL, and then we have yeah, these are the function things, the things in the class. So we'll do all of this stuff inside here, and then lastly we'll do GL draw arrays. Um, First we just need the size of the vertices again. So this is what we're passing really. So let's just copy this part here. So we actually do need to pass something else in here. We pass size. We'll just call it size again, unsigned ink. Unsigned ink size, and let's not forget to do that in the function prototype. Unsigned ink size. Okay. Quickly, let's go back in here and just replace it with that. By 2 actually. So you have to copy this whole thing here and then replace it with size. And then when we go back out here in the main function, when we call this GL window.drawFrame, we are going to pass in the width of the image, the height of the image, and then we're going to pass in this thing we just calculated. And that should be it. And then we could remove all of this stuff right here, so the spring ratio and GL viewport stuff. And then I'm gonna invent that stuff. We could remove these as well. We could also remove this window size, which we should have removed a while ago actually. Okay, and I'm happy with this. Yeah, so we'll just run and see what happens. Semicolon, of course. Is expecting some kind of brackets somewhere. Yeah, extra pair of brackets, parentheses. Image ratio, yeah, we'll just declare in here, float image ratio. And we'll also declare this in here as well. I really don't want to. In fact, we're not going to declare them in here. Let's just go in here and declare frame ratio. We're going to call they're going to be floats. And we're not going to be declaring into anything. So again, float, and this is going to be screen ratio. I wonder if we should just set this in the when we handle WM size, but I'm just gonna leave it here for now. I calculated everything. Okay, so remember we're calling it frame ratio now. And screen ratio, so let's just replace all of these with frame ratio. Okay, and here frame ratio again. And I think that is all we were using it, so let's try again. Okay, again. And at least we're not getting any errors. And again, this format thing, I literally don't care. So, okay, let's see how this runs. Okay, and it still runs successfully. So let's resize and see what happens. Um, okay, yeah, it's still resizing properly and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with this now. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Still took a little longer than I wanted, a little way longer actually, but well, if this is how it's gonna be, it's just gonna take a bit longer, then so be it. So yeah, in the next video, guys, we'll get this server up and running. That's it. See you guys later.